Happy International Podcast Day. Hello, everybody. Just a freewheeling open conversation today. I don't have an agenda in mind per se, but I thought I would switch this on here. There we go. See if I can give it. There we go. That's not what I want. That's pretty. Hello, everybody. And it's International Podcast Day. September 30th has been designated as International Podcast Day, and that means it's a day for us to just talk about podcasts and podcasting and share our favorite episodes, our favorite shows, and those kinds of things. And I thought that's what I would do today. So I wanted to just come live, and I'm going to be here for a while. If you'd like to join the conversation, well, there's nobody here right now, so I'm not going to bother promoting that. But in the comments, you can see the link to use if you'd like to join the call. If I can figure that out, hang on a minute. Just a minute, Rosie. The dog wants to leave the room. You want to get out of here? You get out? Go. Rosie says happy podcast day today to you too. So, I'm just going to hang out for a while and talk about some of my favorite podcasts and podcasters and a little bit about how I got into podcasting. I first discovered podcasting about, 2023? It must be almost 20 years ago, 18, 19 years since I first discovered podcasting. I was a big fan of a show on the Tech TV network on cable, and I was a big fan in particular of a show called The Screensavers with Patrick Norton and Leo Laporte. Leo Laporte being an old school radio broadcaster and technology reporter who, among other things, still has a show where he just helps people deal with their technology. And that show, Screensavers, was a fun one, talking about technology and things like that. This is Luna, who has been in my face all morning. So I'm going to throw her out of the office. And and it looks like the wife is ringing, so stand by for a moment while I just mute the mic. Well, that's what happens when you do a spontaneous live video session. I see Scoob is joining the call. I'm going to bring him on, and we'll see what we can do here. There he is. You're in the green room. Scoob, how are you, man?
How's it going?
It's going. Happy International Podcast Day.
Happy International Podcast Day. I can't believe I made it to another one.
They keep coming whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I guess so.
How are things? What's new?
Oh, nothing. It's been great. This year that I've been podcasting has been such an experience for me, and I'm glad you were a part of it. You've been a big help to me and my podcast, so I really appreciate what you do for all of us as podcasters.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, since you've got the platform, tell the world what you do and what you're podcasting about and those kinds of things.
Sure. So my name's DJ Scoob, and I am the host of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, which is a podcast where we interview brand new entrepreneurs that are literally just getting started in their entrepreneurial adventure. We talk about their struggles, their accomplishments, and their goals. And everybody listens can learn how to start their own business because you're not by yourself in this. There's a lot of the people starting at the same time, but we still have a lot of different types of knowledges and things we could share with each other to help each other along in our entrepreneurial adventure. And then I
Indeed.
also I also do doing it today coaching. So I actually help you get across the start line. That's kind of what I do. Get the basics down for you so you can at least get started because it's all about getting started now.
Very, very cool. And they can find that at what's the URL for the podcast?
So at if you want to join me on my website, it's uepodcast.net.
Great.
Would be my website, and then if you want my socials, Linktree, link linktr.ee at DJ slash DJ Scoob. That's
DJ Scoob.
SKOOB.
All right. On
Yeah,
Linktree/DJ Scoob. That's great. Well, cool. So what are you doing? It looks like you're at work today.
I am. But you know what? I just want to take 2 seconds here and just wish everybody a happy National Podcast Day, and just personally say thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Well, I am grateful to you too. It's a grateful for the opportunity to serve and help and share my knowledge and ideas and pick up some ideas from others as well. So cool, very cool. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. I wish I could get on longer, but I gotta, obviously I'm at work, so I'm gonna hop off here. But I just want to say thank you for everything. What I really appreciate you.
All right, man. Great talking to you. We'll catch up again soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right. Well, that's fun. I'm loving this tool, this software. Ecamm Live lets you do this pretty easily, and let's do things like this too, bringing in graphics and stuff like that. That's the September 30th is International Podcast Day, and I was just going to share a little bit before my phone rang. I was going to share a little bit about my favorite podcasts that I listen to sort of religiously. And I will tell you, one of my favorites is, as a lawyer, I like to listen to Karen Conroy's Counsel Cast. And she has had me on as a guest, but she talks about optimizing landing pages and using LinkedIn and how to podcast and how to use video and all of different kinds of tools for marketing and growing a podcast. Not a podcast, a law practice, excuse me. One of my favorite shows that I listen to is from a friend and client of mine, Colin Boyd, has the Expert Edge podcast. And his thrust of what he talks about is helping expert businesses, experts in one field or another, to command the stage and speak effectively, selling from the stage and so on. He says, Experts Edge podcast is where experts come to command the stage, position themselves as authorities, and scale their businesses up. Join the host as he discusses influence, persuasion, and communication with leading experts from the industry. Increase your influence and leverage in your passion and turn it into a successful business. So that's pretty great. And this week, let me just see, he's got an episode this week about 3 webinar mistakes that kill conversions, and a couple of other recent interview with Ali Bjork, who does a discussion of tiny offers, that kind of thing. I also like to listen to Amy Porterfield's Online Business Made Easy, Online Marketing Made Easy with Amy Porterfield. She does a great job and talks about sort of operating a business with a sort of behind the scenes look at things. James Wedmore's Mind Your Business podcast is fantastic if you're interested in online business mindset and a little bit of spirituality in there too, which is fun. It's a smorgasbord of interesting topics. I love to listen to Tracy Hazard and Tom Hazard with Feed Your Brand, excuse me. And they talk about marketing and those kinds of things. And they also have a show, Tracy has a show called The Binge Factor, which is excellent as well. And worth listening to if you'd like to get some tips on how to podcast and so on. Bandrew has a show. bandrewsays.com. Bandrew's show is called The Bandrew Says Podcast, helping content creators determine how the news affects their careers and projects. Deconstructs YouTube, social media, streaming news to help you avoid the hysteria, and so on. And Bandrew's an interesting and clever guy. So what else do I love to listen to? My friend Larry Roberts and Sarah Losey have Branded, which is a cool show and worth a listen. And of course, don't forget about Entertainment Law Update, my monthly legal news roundup for lawyers. And if you're more in the podcasting and digital marketing space, Legit Podcast Pro is the live stream that I do every week that I also release as a podcast. So that's a handful of my favorite podcasts. I'd love to hear about yours. Those of you who are watching, if you would like to join in the conversation, feel free with a comment or dive in and join me on the interview link for the call. That's in the comments. It's the first comment here in there. You can go to guest.ecam.live and there's my special podcast link there. You can see it on the screen, but it's also in the comments and it's probably clickable in the comments. So that would be my preference. And there we go. Dave, nice to see you here. Awesome. Sounds great. Oh, I guess you saw that DJ Scoob was in here. And yeah, Dave, start using that Ecamm software. This is a fabulous tool. I really love it. You know what I think I'll do? I think if I can, I'm going to show you I'll give you my little studio tour. And I'm going to see if I can get the other camera to work and get the iPhone camera to work for you. So I can show you my studio. Let me see if I can make that happen. Let's see. Yes, it's working. Okay. So there we are. You've got it. I'm going to switch the podcast thing logo off. All right. So here we are. I'm going to roll back here into the abyss of my office. As you can see, this is where I am sitting when I am doing my show for you. And just to give you a little sense of how I light up that background, you can see I've got a ceiling fan, and I've just put a couple of color-changing LED light plugs in those sockets, and I've got a little angle adapter, and that makes it possible. So these are Elgato key lights. This one has a grid on it, but Elgato key lights. And here's my mic that I use for just general Zooms and things like that. That is a Rode, I can't remember which one that is, but it's a Rode Video Mic NG something, I think. And then down here, of course, is the Shure MV7. That is my podcasting mic of choice these days on this Elgato low-profile arm. You see the Rodecaster over there for when I'm doing podcast episodes specifically. And got the keyboard and the Stream Deck and so on. Running a Mac Mini, an M1 Mac Mini, and there's the teleprompter. So you can see what I'm looking at when I'm talking to camera, along with the dual monitor. The teleprompter and this left monitor are mirror images of each other, and that's the way I like it. And so that's that. That's my podcasting setup. DJ Scoob says, amazing setup. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Look, maybe I have more money than sense. Who knows what's going on with that, but it's fun to have that and do that. And it allows me to make content quickly and easily. I do online courses. I do video instruction for I teach classes at college as well. And it allows me to make all of that content right here at the desk, and I can do my legal work at this desk too. So it's all good and fun, and I'm very happy with the setup. So it lets me make podcasts easily too. I have been podcasting pretty consistently now for the last 14 years or so, and I'd love to hear about you, Dave. Is your podcast back up, Dave? Are you still doing? I know you were bringing it back, and I don't remember whether you actually got it up and running again or not, but love to hear more from you. And and hear more about that. So, other things that are going on in the podcasting world. Well, I'm going to look up my my RSS feeds tool, Feedly, and see what's newest in the podcast feed space. Let's see. Under podcasting, not too many things here. Podchasers AI works out a podcast's audience. That's an interesting. They've got a predictive tool going on over there at Podchaser. Predictive demographics, cool. Google Podcasts is closing, so Google wants you to use YouTube to consume podcasts, and they are rolling out or have rolled out a tool that will make it possible to add any RSS feed to the YouTube Music app. So what they want you to do is sign up for YouTube Music, use that app, and use it in place of Google Podcasts. They're going to go into 2024 with the tool going, but they're planning to shut it down at some point next year, which is, I suppose, an interesting development. I'm not a user of that tool, so it's sort of challenging to know what that means. But the idea of being siloed in the YouTube Music app kind of bothers me. I'm not exactly sure why, but they have a tool that allows these subscriptions and works with third-party app subscriptions too, which is kind of cool. What else is in this is from Pod News yesterday, I guess. Okay. A few days ago. Oh, this is one I've been thinking a lot about. Spotify has announced that they're going to use AI to translate podcasts in the sound of the same person as host. So if I do my show and then it wants to be translated into Spanish, it would sound like it's me speaking Spanish or French or Italian or Swahili or Hindi or whatever. And I think that's a really exciting possible technology. And I also have a lot of concerns and reservations about it because, well, what if I don't want them to translate my show? What if I don't want my voice to be replicated that way? What if I don't want to train systems on the sound of my voice because that opens the door to other uses for deep fakes and things like that? So a little troubling there. I'm going to be doing a whole episode about that this coming Thursday on Legit Podcast Pro. You might be seeing my fun little photoshopped image of the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI translation. And that's what we'll be talking about this coming week. So tune in Thursday at 4 p.m. for that if you are interested. And we'll talk more about that. What else is going on? Let's just see. Let's see. OpenAI has introduced voice and image functionality on ChatGPT, which is interesting. The AI, this is the year of AI, isn't it? The beginning of the real power of AI. Let's put it that way. So this is from a legal blog that I follow. OpenAI announced new functionalities, expanding its interface to include voice and image. So what does this mean? User interaction to be enhanced. Features be rolled out over the coming weeks. You can engage in a back and forth voice conversation with ChatGPT. That's an interesting one. So we're getting to that Star Trek era of saying to the computer, hey, what's this? Or give me that. And it does it. And that should be no surprise with tools like Siri and Amazon's Echo and those kinds of things already been out there for a while. This obviously seems like a pretty typical angle of progress. What else? So a user, for example, will be able to ask verbally ChatGPT to prepare a draft of a legal article or a blog post right on the spot. Give it a few vocal prompts to guide the narrative, or just ask a question and it'll give the response in spoken word form. And the image side, the platform's going to allow users to share images to give context and visual interaction. Here's what I like, here's what I'm thinking of, what I'd like you to describe, and so on. And then the user could focus on a particular part of the image. And the GPT 3.5 and 4 models we'll be able to take that in and use it in creating its output. So this is going to be a gradual rollout, apparently. That's kind of interesting. What else? What else have we got here? From the... Well, I got a lot of legal stuff to cover. We're going to be recording our next episode of Entertainment Law Update on Wednesday this week. It's kind of a big week for me, actually, a busy week. Wednesday is the first day I'm doing my Entertainment Law Update, episode 161, and then go back to class to teach my intellectual property and media ethics and law classes. That's pretty cool. And then Thursday, I'm doing a webinar on the legal do's and don'ts for documentary filmmakers. If you're interested in that, you can find out a little more about it. Let me see if I've got my artwork for that here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. I'll put it up on the screen. There it is. Legal do's and don'ts for documentary filmmakers. You can register for that at docu-law.net or gordonfiremark.com/doculaw if you're interested. And that'll be a webinar I'm doing at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Thursday, the 5th of October. That's this coming Thursday. And then on Saturday, hey, Bob from New Hampshire. Nice. I thought it was Boston, but I guess you're doing an Eastern Seaboard tour, huh? Good to see you, man. So later on Saturday this week is the business and legal fundamentals for podcast growth and profit webinar workshop that I do from time to time, and I'm excited and looking forward to that as well. Here's the information about that. You can go to event.podcastlaw.net to register for that, and I would love it if you would join and attend that. It's always a good session. Going to do it kind of early on Saturday morning. That's Saturday the 5th of October. Excuse me, the 7th of October. I don't know what that is just now. What happened? Go back to my other. This is what I wanted to go back to. There we go. And doing it early in the morning on a Saturday, trying to capture opportunity for other people, other audiences, and so on. And that's what's going on with that. So what are you listening to podcast-wise? Bob, do you listen to podcasts? Bob and I are friends going to, God, it's got to be almost 50 years we've been friends, Bob. Maybe we were 10 years old, so 47 years, something like that, since we were in the 5th grade together. And Bob is a professional musician and musical director. He is touring with a very, very, very famous vocalist and performer, and has an amazing career and just gets to do some fun work. So gotta love that. And do you listen to podcasts? If so, what do you listen to? Type in the names of something that you listen to. I'm going to bet that if you do, it's guys like Joe Rogan and maybe comedy shows and things like that. Dave, what's your top podcast or two? And DJ Scoob, you too. If you've got a favorite podcast you like to listen to, share it here. We'll help other people discover some new shows. That'll be fun. What else? What else is going on this International Podcast Day? Let me see if I can just search up the hashtag Podcast Day. Let's see if there's anything interesting happening there. Let's see. That's not finding me a lot of good answers, good stuff. But let's see what's going on over on Podcast Day on Twitter. Just see. Well, that's not what I wanted to find, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Podcasting Historical Timeline. If you head over to International Podcast Day and you click on the podcasting history, you will see the timeline, the beginning when Adam Curry and Dave Weiner invented the podcast technology. Who exactly did what is up for dispute, but ultimately these are the two guys that got it rolling, and it became a part of the popular culture in early 2004 and into 2005 when Libsyn launched in 2004, and Leo Laporte publishing his episode This Week in Tech. And that's the episode that got me interested in the show that got me interested in podcasting. And when I heard that show and I was looking for ways to market my law practice, I thought, okay, do that too. It's Meredith. Hello, Meredith. We're just talking about the history of podcasting and podcast stuff and all that. And if you've got a favorite show you would like to tell us about, do that. And if you have your own show, you can promote that too. Drop it in the chat or the comments. And love to hear from you about that as well. Looking at this history, this timeline. Actually, I'm going to share my screen and do it that way. There we go. This is this timeline from, whoops, what happened? I zoomed in or something. There we go. Wrong screen. There we go. So here's our historical timeline of podcast stuff. There's Adam Curry and Dave Weiner. Ben Hammersley talked about it in an article that year. Libsyn launching. So this is going back almost 20 years now. Let me get rid of some of the junk on the screen and make it a little easier for us to see this. 2005, George Bush did a podcast for his weekly address. Did not know that. That's fascinating. And word of the year in 2005. Who knew? Who knew? More recently, we've got all these tools coming out, and I scroll down to the very end here. Well, this was a big moment when President Obama went on the WTF podcast with Marc Maron, recorded here in Los Angeles in Mark's garage studio, and the President of the United States. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And got a few mentions of the patent lawsuit and so on. And then going up to 2020, Rogan announced his deal with Spotify. So that's pretty exciting. Anyway, I'm going to come back to camera and visit with you a little bit more. What's going on with everybody? You know, it's interesting. Live streaming like this is a lot of fun. It's interesting. I feel like I have to fill the silences and that I have to have sort of an agenda of stuff to cover. And yet, you know, today that's not the case. I'm not doing that. I watch a couple of YouTubers do these long live streams. You know, fellow attorney whose name is Emily Baker does her streams are crazy long, and I mean she'll go 2-3 hours easily. And you know, sometimes she's covering a trial or watching as cases move their way through the courts and so on. But I'm just looking here. She did a live yesterday about Taylor Shabusiness, I guess is the name of whatever she's talking about there. And she did a 3-hour, 38-minute live stream, I should say. And yeah, talking about, well, an awful lot. Covering some of what was brought out at trial and so on. So that's her approach. She did a great job with the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp lawsuits. She actually just did a pickup on some of the stuff from the sidebars during that case. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So Emily's great. Like her show. I don't have the time to sit and watch 3 or 4 hours of a YouTube's live streams most of the time, but from what I've seen has been pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. Somebody had a comment or something. Just a second here. Let me see. but I'm not seeing it. That's peculiar. In any event, I'm not good at going for hours and hours. I feel like if I don't have anything important to say, I should just sign off and shut up. And I think that's what I'm going to do for a little bit now. Been great to chat with you a little bit and celebrate this International Podcast Day. And I'll probably come back on again later on today and just, pop in from time to time over the course of the day. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you again in the future. Take care.